Little caterpillar.
TruckDriver101.com. What's up, guys? TruckDriver101.com. Kept it short there. That was a short intro. So, I've been watching BRT. For those who do not know, that is Big Rig Talk. I believe that's what it stands for. And basically, the driver on his vlog there on YouTube, you can check it out. He has, he's basically in a lease purchase program. And so I got a question about how do you profit in the lease purchase program? And I actually decided to explain a couple of things so guys understand this. It's really about how to profit in all businesses. But here's the thing. When you buy a truck, and this will be quick. When you buy a truck, your ability to profit is based on your note. Okay? So you got your maintenance. That's going to be a certain percentage of your mileage that you're getting paid. You've got, your fuel costs. You've got your breakdowns, all these things. Now, when somebody buys a truck outright, use a guy I was talking to as an example. He had pretty much got to the point where he was putting away like a quarter for this, 15 cents for that, and he had pretty much been making it for, I think, about 4 years. And he was paying his truck off. And his truck note was $2,000 a month, which basically means he just got back $500 a week. Okay? So instead of taking this $200 a month and deciding to put it in the bank, because when you own your truck, the biggest profit you have is, one, your ability to keep your costs down, the ones you can control. Two, making sure you're getting your truck checked out when you're home and making sure you're getting it fixed by a good, reputable group of guys who want to fix equipment correctly. And three, letting the freight dictate when you come home. So if you want to get into and be an owner operator, the first thing you need to do is get out the idea, get it out of your head that when you go home is your decision. If you think being an owner operator or owning any business and having success is about you in the beginning, and that means 4, 5 years, 10 years sometimes, being able to make a decision to take a day off randomly is foolish. You got to understand, guys, that when you commit to a business, you're committing to making money first and all the other stuff second. That means if Junior's birthday is Thursday, but I've got some freight that's going to pay me really, really good, and it's going to profit the business, the household, Junior's birthday doesn't matter. I got to make sure we can eat. I got to make sure this truck has enough money to be repaired if it breaks down. I got to make sure I can make this note. That comes first. That is true. Now, if you're a lease purchase, a little different. First of all, when you lease purchase, the benefits you gain is that you're going to make some more money than you would as a company driver. But here's the problem with it is that's not a guarantee. You're in a business. Now, the problem with a lease purchase is you've bought somebody else's business plan. You bought a franchise, right? Now, if you buy the right franchise in the right place, you can be very successful. If you buy the wrong franchise in the wrong place, you can fail. Now, I was looking at BRT's lease purchase that he's in, and basically he pays a quarter of it or more per mile from what he said to his lease payment, up to 300,000 miles whenever he gets there. This is amazing. I think it's an amazing way to finance a truck. I think this should be the way trucks are really financed. To hell with lease purchase, just basing everything off the actual payment. Because the beautiful part is, yes, you will pay sometimes $900 in a week, but who gives a flying freaking frick at the end of the day if that gets your loan paid off faster? Now, here's the problem with his situation. It doesn't get his loan paid off faster. It just gets him into a new truck faster. Now, the problem with that is a whole different ball game, because all new trucks are not created the same. I have been in tons of new trucks that have to go to the shop to be fixed all the freaking time. So the problem is, and the thing is, a lot of guys look at it, well, if you don't have any miles, though, you'll have to pay a note when it's based off your note. And basically the way it works is he pays a percentage out of every mile that he runs. And when he doesn't run, he doesn't pay a note. That is correct. However, your other bills are still due. That's the part that they're not talking about. In other words, his mortgage is still due. His house note is still due. Well, his house note, obviously his mortgage, but his other bills, his monthly bills are still due. Now, in other words, I don't care whether you're a company driver. That's one of the biggest misconceptions in trucking. If you're a company driver, then, oh, you don't lose money when you stop. Yes, you do. You always lose money when you stop, because if you're not making money, then you're losing money. Because money is always flying out of your door. Think about it. Even if you're not home and you live by yourself, the light company is still going to charge you for the minimal light that was used by your plugged-in appliances. All right? So you're always burning through money. Always, guys. And the thing is, you got to understand that. You got to get that through your thick skull, that you're always losing money. Now, in a lease purchase program, no, you're not losing money on a truck. However, you have a different set of problems. One of the biggest problems you have is now you're dealing with a company that could cut your miles. And yeah, you're still based off your note, and that's nice, but you don't want to own a truck and barely get enough miles to pay the bills, because, again, it's still based off your miles. The other part is if they change the rules on you and what your contract says. This isn't like when you go out and you go get financed. When you go get financed, it's not a big deal. The note, it belongs to you, and you do very well, right? You own the note. You basically go out on the road and you make money. Now, if you don't make money, you can't make the note. You lose it, obviously. But pretty much what I mean you do very well is that you own it. That's it. There's no more contracting. There's nothing else. I got to pay you or you take it from me. That's it. If you go with a company, you got a bunch of gotchas in this. These companies don't do this because they love you. They do it because they want to make a profit. Now, to profit in this, you have got to, again, like I said before, put your freight first and you last, and everybody else too. That's just the reality of business. But here's the thing. You don't have a note to profit from, because you're always going to be paying a note. So your profit is going to come from spending less. Now, a lot of guys try to act like buying Chrome is why guys go broke, and buying this. No, it's not. It's not. As long as you pay your taxes and everything else, Chrome just ain't that expensive, and that's a one-time expense. The real reason guys go broke in lease purchase programs is they lose their miles. Their miles go up and they go down and they go up and they go down. And then the other part is most guys think, I can go home when I want because I'm an owner-operator. You're not an owner-operator, okay? You are not a true owner-operator. If you're an owner-operator, you can't even go home when you want. But a lot of lease purchase guys think they are owner-operators and that means you can go home when you want. It doesn't. I was listening to a guy the other day on YouTube. And he was talking about how he wants to get his own authority so he can decide what kind of freight he hauls and where he goes. That's dumb. But that's not going to work. You don't the freight, you don't decide to take freight. Freight dictates you. That's how it works. Freight runs your life when you are a truck driver. No different if you own a McDonald's, burgers run your life. Okay? Customers run your life. At the end of the day, if you're slow, right? Let's say my drive-through window breaks and I can't get drive-through orders. I got to send somebody out in the cold. Well, let's say nobody's willing to do that. And I got very little employees. And I got to go out in the cold and do it. The only difference is when you're in the trucking business, you bought a job. Right? And so there is no fry cook that can go outside and take those orders. That's you. And because you're not an owner-operator, paying off your truck's not a reality. So to make profit, you just got to run efficiently. That's all you can really do to make profit. You can't pay off your truck. Most lease people do what they do out of fear. They do it out of fear because they expect their truck to break down all the time. The problem is trucks don't break down all the time. They don't. They don't break down all the time. They don't end up costing you money all the time. Trucks can often run successfully. And as a result, if you're an owner operator, you know what I'm talking about. I have seen so many guys with old trucks. They have to repair it, and they have to repair it, and they have to repair it, and then they got to pay that truck note, and they struggle. But one day, the truck note gets paid off, right? And then they haven't had a breakdown in a long time. But mentally, they have held on to something's going to go wrong. And so some of those guys often try to become a lease guy because the company, I'm buying into their business plan, they're going to take care of some more of this. Or they become a company driver. But then they end up with the same problems because they're still not addressing the main problem, is their perception of what they're doing. When I see a guy trying to put a chrome on his company truck, that's not your truck. I don't have a problem with it as long as you recognize that it's not your truck. If you recognize that it's not your truck, I am not judging you. I'm not. If you recognize that, I'm not judging you. Because at least I know you're doing that for yourself and you're not some idiot who has assumed this is your truck. Lease purchase guys. I have seen those guys put on equipment on a lease purchase truck and thinking it's their truck. And then they get a call from the lease saying, hey, you got to pull this and this off. And yes, that's what I mean by lease purchase. For those who don't know, a while ago it was really, really popular to use extra filters in your oil. And I think they still do it, but all it does is allows you change your oil when it's actually time to change it. Not some, kind of, change your oil every 5,000 miles, right? Or whatever. Because that is an arbitrary number, and you can't really, it's not dictating what your truck's oil is actually doing. That's just saying 5,000 miles, change the oil. It's a general kind of suggestion. It's not a bad one. I'm just saying it's based on an experiment, and then it's dictating it to millions of trucks. And of course, each truck has its own reality. Now, here's the thing. If you want to be a successful owner-operator, you always want to save as much money as possible. So you run on your oil until the optimal situation comes to change it. In other words, the oil, when you get an oil sample, it says, the minerals in the oil are truly broken down, and now it's trying to change it. Not just this generic kind of number, which makes more sense. And see, because the oil numbers, even in our cars, those numbers are generic. They just say that, okay? You got to remember the oil company wants to make a profit just like you do. And they're sitting there thinking, hey, how can we make a profit? I mean, they have no reason. People always kill me when they think oil companies or manufacturing companies have a reason to manufacture a device that's going to last forever. If you think, one of the things I learned, I'm going to go off topic here, but this is a guy who I trained who worked for GM. When he was working for GM, he learned. He learned how to go buy machines. He went over and bought machines. He thought, man, this is going to be so great. What he found out was every week or every other week, they were paying for circuit boards. That was the trick. I don't know why people, they bought into the idea that this company that manufactures these machines is going to stay in business by creating machines that last 100 years and never break down. That's bullshit. But you can stay in business if you create a machine that has a part, like a circuit board, that breaks down every week or every other week or every few months, and then you keep paying me to replace the circuit board, right? Because that the machine is the initial cost, and that's what you do all your math on, and you forget about all these circuit boards you got to buy every month, which basically often equals as much as you would have paid an employee. And that was the scam. And we used to laugh about that. But back to what I was saying. And this is the same kind of thing. You got to have that's the mentality a lot of oil companies have. And that's why a lot of guys were putting on these extra filters to extend the life of their oil. And the problem was that many lease purchasers they couldn't use them because it was against their lease. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Kevin Rutherford. You might want to Google him, but he talked about this, and it's just one of those things, and that's just an example of something you can't do in a lease because you don't own the business. The business is owned by another group of people, and you're renting the business. So the only way to profit in that, like I said, is to be really, really, really efficient within someone else's system. That means that you're probably only going to make $200 to $300 extra, and only when you get the miles. That's the reality. Only when you get the miles. Now, in the sell-it-on lease, they have an incentive because the more miles you get them, the more miles they get you, the more money they get paid. And that benefits them. And I can't blame them. That's a better lease purchase program. I think I would love to see it as a finance program because it would hugely benefit a financing trucker because that means you could pay your note off that much faster. If you get 4,000 miles, that's that much more money that went to your note. That would be amazing. That would be freaking amazing. Right. But, it's one of those things where you have to live in the reality that as long as you don't own your truck, that money is always going out the window. It's like rent. If you own your house, yes, you run the risk of roof collapse. Yes, you run the risk of a basement pipe bursting. But I lived in a house once for 14 years and nothing needed fixing for 14 years. That means other than the mortgage getting paid, once the house is paid for and you fix the stuff that needs to be fixed, you might go another 14 years before you have an expense other than taxes. And that's the same way you profit in a trucking business. It's about the money that you don't waste. Not about chrome, not about gadgets, not about any of that stuff. Those are all one-time expenses. It's about dedicate yourself to being on the road until you make your profit, and then you go home. 2, and if you're a lease, that's as if you're a lease or owner operator. If you're owner operator, pay that note off as fast as possible because that is your profit. I told you guys about one guy I talked to. He had been owner operating for many years, and he had a $2,000 truck note. And he wanted to get out of trucking because he wasn't, quote, making enough. But if he thought about it, he had $2,000 a month. Guys, 2 times 12, right? We're going to do this real simple. 2 times 2 is 4. And 2 times 1 is 2. That's $24,000 a year. That means if he saved that 2 times, right? He's got $48,000. He could buy another truck and get another driver to ride it. Then he does that again, and he turns around and does it again in another 2 years. He's going to have breakdowns and all those things, but most likely, let's say he has a little less. Let's say he's got $29,000. All right, he turns around and gets another truck. Now he's got other trucks running for him, and they're making him a profit, and he's now making good money. Now, let's go to the lease guy. The lease guy has just got to run really efficiently. He's got to keep his food expenses down, his expenses down. You need not to have a mortgage. Everything you have to do is low because you also have this responsibility for this truck, and at the same freaking time, you never, ever are going to be able to profit off running this truck. You're never, ever going to get it paid off. So you're always going to be in a hole every time you start off. So you just got to run really hard, get as many miles as you can, and that's the way you got to profit and eat and live on the road as efficiently as possible. The only way you can profit. The owner-operator, he can splurge a little bit. He can say, hey, this month, I'm going to take that $2,000 and me and my wife going on vacation. Hell with it. It's always extra money anyway. You know what I'm saying? The guy who's in the lease purchase, his extra money has always got to be very efficient because remember, anything can pop up and the company says, well, technically that's not in your lease purchase. or we're not going to pay for that. Or if maybe your maintenance account doesn't cover it, well, if the maintenance account doesn't cover it and we're not going to pay for it, sounds like you have a problem there, Jim. Yep, so guess you better figure it out, huh? And there's nothing stopping that person from doing that. See, a lease purchase program, a company from doing that, a lease purchase program is risk. It's about risk. It's about convincing someone that I'm taking your risk away. But I'm not. I'm keeping the truck. I'm having you run it for me. You manage it for me. I'm going to pay you a managerial fee. And at the same time, if something goes wrong, you are responsible. If you walk away from the truck, I'll take it, I'll fix it, and then I'll get me somebody else to put in this truck and let them manage my business for me. That's what lease purchase really is. It's a trucking business that you're managing for your company. That's it. So, would I consider lease purchase? Probably not. Unless I thought like the sell it down one it's tempting, but I doubt I would do it. Because at the end of the day, I'm still running really hard and I gotta live really efficiently and I got risk, a lot of risk. But I've been convinced it's just a con. You've been convinced contractually that you're not taking this risk because you can walk away. Well, I got news flash for you. An owner-operator can walk away. An owner-operator can walk away. He can. Here's the thing. A lot of guys in those lease purchase programs assume that if you walk away, that the debt that was incurred by repairing the truck when they took it back is not going to be put on them. Why not? I'll say that all day. Unless you have a guaranteed written in a contract. Let's say the truck breaks down because it's got some type of, death problem. And that death problem, for whatever reason, you don't have enough money in your maintenance account and the company won't back you on it. You got a problem, guys. You have a freaking problem. Okay, now you got this problem. You need to get this fixed. You need to get this death and all these things taken care of, right? But you don't have any money. So you say, you know what, the hell with this, I'm walking away. So you walk away. So then the company calls you on the phone and say, hey, you owe us for this death. We had to repair it. When you walked away from the truck and you say, hey, it was zero responsibility when I walked away. I said, yes, it says zero responsibility, but we didn't mean this death system. You have to pay for this death system or we're going to take it out your check. So now you got to leave your company. Right? And you got to hope they don't sue you. Welcome to the reality of lease purchase. Lease purchasing has so much more risk and is dependent on two myths. The myth of renting, right? That if the roof caves in on my rented house, I don't have to repair it, but I still got to go pay for a hotel, right? If at the end of the day, if the roof collapses on the house I own and I don't have the money to fix it, well, I have to walk away from the house. And that's bad. I may even have to file bankruptcy to protect myself, depending on what happens, right? Right. But it ends. And I was aware of that from the beginning. Right? If you lose your truck, you're aware of it happening from the beginning. You know it's happening. You see it. You know how it's going to end. Unless you get a lawyer to go over your lease purchase contract, you're never going to be sure where the gotchas could be. So my suggestion, if you're going into a lease purchase, make sure you understand what the gotchas are. Make sure you live really efficiently. And make sure you get it. You've fallen for a con. Okay, it's a contract, and that's what you're in, a con, not a lease purchase program. Okay, because when you use the word lease purchase, the only way that really works is if you purchase it at the end, and if you don't plan to purchase it, then all you're doing is leasing, and that's no different than renting, which makes sense only if you can't get a truck and you're doing it to get the down payment on a truck. Then I could understand your lease risk. I could definitely understand your risk to take on a lease. But don't fall for the myth of the new truck either, guys. The new truck myth, that new trucks are bulletproof and they never break down, that is bullshit. New trucks break down daily, okay? All the damn time. I was in a new Freightliner 07. I go to the shop. I'm having clutch problems. I get to the shop. The guy goes to check the clutch out. He pulls the clutch apart, and he goes, "Holy crap, there was never any grease in my clutch. It came from the factory ungreased, and for some reason our guys in the shop never put any grease in it." And it's Warner Enterprises got it covered by the warranty, right? So it got repaired. It got repaired. It was still a new truck. But I was in the shop for 5 days. Boom. Got on the road again. Next truck. I got a '08, I think '09 ProStar. It was one of the first ones, I think. So it might have been '09, '10. But bottom line is, I'm in my ProStar, and I'm driving, having a good day, driving, and the lights go out. Got to go to the shop, get a new circuit board. All right, week later, got to go back to the shop, got to get another new circuit board. Another week later, got to go back to the shop, another new circuit board. Week later, got to rewire the truck because it's not the circuit board, it's actually the truck wiring. Me and the mechanic are sitting there, he's pulling fuses to see which ones go where, and he pulls the light fuse and the lights are still on. Headlights. He turns around, he pulls one more fuse and goes, "What the hell is this?" So now I'm sitting there to get it rewired, right? That happened twice. It had to be rewired. 7 times in the shop in less than 6 months. Yeah, so take all that new truck mythology and shove it up your ass. Okay? I'm telling you this. Look, I'll give you a compromise, man. If you don't want to spend a lot for a truck, go into a 3-month lease purchase. Sit back, save. If you want to do lease purchase, go into a 3-month lease purchase. Save your money. 10 G's. Put the 10 G's up. Go buy you a Humpty 10G truck that has a built engine. Okay? Ride that mug and keep it repaired. And if you can make a profit off of that, then take risk on a new truck or, do something else. Take a minimal risk. Take a minimal risk. I would never say do a lease purchase for a long time. I just don't believe in it, man. If you do a lease purchase for a long time, it's massive, massive possibilities of things that could go wrong because the company is only going to back you so much, and then the maintenance account is their mathematical calculation of what should go wrong. Well, they bought trucks in a big bulk, right, from a sales guy. These people sitting in office all day, dude. They don't know. They don't. That's why they put automatic transmissions in a lot of trucks. I just had, when I left Falcon Transport, my automatic transmission just died. It was dying. It was missing gears. At the same time, I was having lighting problems. What else was finally put in the shop? Oh, and the people net was wired into the truck, and it wasn't working. Those 3 things, those went wrong in a brand new 2015 truck. Let me repeat that. A brand new 2015 truck in the shop. It's been in the shop. I talked to one of the guys who still work at Falcon. It's been in the shop for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Brand new truck. Right? And from what I talked to the guy in the shop, he said they never dealt with the whole point of the transmission. They're going to wait till that goes out. It's still under warranty, but that might be another 2 or 3 weeks. Right? Even if you're in a lease purchase and you're making more money, can you be down 2 or 3 weeks? Yeah, you ain't got a loan payment, but at the end of the day, can you be down 2 or 3 weeks? I'm gonna guess no. I'm gonna guess no. And then you got to rent a truck, right? Oh, you got to rent you a truck for real? How much money is that gonna cost you, bro? See how you're always losing money, even if you're a company driver, anybody. And the minute your truck breaks down, you're not making money, and money is always costing you, whether it's your cell phone bill, whether it's your lights at the house, something. So that's it, guys. TruckDriver101.com. I hope that rambling on, I'm sorry, helps you, but it just, people just get me when they're trying to erase risk by signing a contract. Dude, if you're going to do it, take a 3-month trial lease. All right? If it goes right, beautiful. Go for it, man. But if it doesn't, at least you can get the hell out of it in 3 months. Right? That's my thing. That's what I think. I hope that helps you. That's what I would recommend for you to do. And don't become a lease purchase operator when you first get into trucking. And always remember, look, if you want to be an owner operator or lease purchase guy, remember one simple thing. Are you willing to stay on the road to make money over going home and being with your family? If the answer of that is no, then don't do it. All right, guys, truckdriver101.com. If you're new to trucking, you can go to youtubetruckers.com, youtubetruckers.com. That is the new link for the book, and that's for guys who are new to trucking. Talk to you guys later.